All right. Good to see you today. We're going to be talking today about the entrepreneur growth process. How do we train our brain to allow success? And today's title for the podcast is called Emotions Guide, Feelings Lie, and Vision Wins. I want to talk to you about how to create for yourself entrepreneur personal growth. And that is up leveling and getting the edge. So you're no longer at the mercy of your feelings, but that you can truly, from a brain-based perspective, allow your vision to lead, your emotions to guide, and your feelings to be in the back seat. Can I get an amen for that? Because how many of you, right? How many of you have had the vision, put it down on paper, make it plain, right? Scripture says, write it down, make sure everybody knows it. So you've done it and you feel it in the visceral center of your bones. And then you sit down to do the thing and it feels like, what's happening here? I cannot do this. Like, I can't go live on the camera. Oh my gosh, what will people think? I don't have enough to offer. This is brain-based sabotage, right? These limiting beliefs, these thoughts that you have that you think is just part of who you are, really is not that at all. It's subconscious neurochemicals. And here's what's happening for you. If you're anything like a visionary, you know what you want. Tell me that, like, right? You know what you want. You have the desire. Is it for a 6-figure business, a 7-figure business? You know what you want. In fact, you've written it down and probably in your journal somewhere. And this is how I'm going to get it. And I'm going to become a coach, or I'm going to continue to coach so that I can create that 7-figure business, or I want this, or I want that, whatever it is for you, right? And you get in rooms and you get so stoked about it and you feel, that's the Californian coming out of me, and you feel like, I want this so bad, right? And then you sit down when you're alone and these thoughts that your brain serves you seem to be sabotaging you. Overwhelm, procrastination, perfectionism, imposter syndrome are the titles we give the sentences that our brain serves us. And why is that happening? And what if you could do something about it? See, emotions were meant to guide the vision. So thoughts and emotions combine to become a belief. That's what's running in your subconscious. When you've thought thoughts that really serve the vision and you have emotions that support the vision, that combines to become a belief. But what's going on for the majority of entrepreneurs is whether you've gotten started and you're like, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I can, what if people find out? What, I'm not like her. I don't know if I can get to that level. We start having these thoughts come in our mind and we think it's lack of confidence, lack of ability, all those things. We try to solve that by doing more. Doing more hasn't solved the problem. So if buying more, doing more, hustling more doesn't solve the problem, then what does? How do we silence those lies of feelings that tell us to stop, to not go live, to not reach out to that podcaster, to not try to create a collaboration, to not put my offer out there, to make it perfect and never put it out there, or to get, and I will always say, us as entrepreneurs, we do procrastination differently. So entrepreneur procrastination is a slightly different gig. Like, we always are busy. So we might move from the thing that we know will move the needle, but we're afraid to do, over to the 17,000 things our kids needs, or working on social media, because surely becoming viral will make it happen. We actively procrastinate. And by the way, those are actually neurochemicals. So here's what's happening. The vision is here. Without vision, people perish, right? So the vision is here, but the automations, the thoughts and belief patterns that are in your subconscious are down here. So what ends up happening is the vision is trying to win. You have the emotions that you want to support that, but the feelings are aligned down here. So the feelings are going to lie. The feelings are going to do everything they can, neurochemically speaking, to get you to collapse the vision down to where you've already been. Safe and familiar. Sound familiar? Like, doesn't it feel better when you don't go live? Doesn't it? You get rewarded neurochemically speaking when you actually collapse the vision down to where you've already been, what you're familiar with, what feels safe in your brain. And here's what I get to tell you. What feels safe in your brain right now, you actually didn't create. Your worth, your enoughness, your abilities, your capacity, your potential, what you think about money, what you think about succeeding, failing, all that was scripts that were built without your knowledge or permission when you were a young child and a young adult. We don't get the capacity, the full capacity to have this prefrontal cortex make logical decisions about those things until we're 24 or 25. So that means whatever the environment of origin, family of origin, whether it was great, horrible, or somewhere in between, we don't have to go deep dive back there. But we do need to know what got put on repeat, because it is guiding every single, well, scientifically proven now, 90% of the decisions that you're making every day, and therefore the actions that you're taking every day, and therefore the results that come from those decisions and those actions aren't coming from the vision. They're coming from here. They're coming from the subconscious programming. So that should get you really excited, because it's not that you don't know how, or that people won't follow you, or that you don't have a voice, or that you don't have the potential. It's just there's a brain-based belief that is seeing this vision as unsafe. So what do? Well, first of all, we start off with understanding that vision wins, that emotions guide, but feelings and emotions are different. Emotions are decided emotions that align with the vision. Feelings are those voices, and I'm not going to put a voice, but those sentences. I like to say sentences because when I say voices, we sound crazy. And when I say sentences, you're like, yeah, my brain serves me that thought. I didn't create that thought. My brain serves it to me. And it's doing that to keep you safe and aligned with what is already on autopilot in the subconscious, because it believes that you want it to be there. Okay. So how you know is, what have you talked yourself out of lately? What have you said to yourself lately that wasn't very encouraging? What do you think about your potential to get to 6 and then on to 7 and then on to 8 figures? What sentences what does your brain serve you? Right. And if we can start to see ourselves separate than what our brain serves us, we can actually learn what is an automation running 90% of our decisions, actions, and results. And when we can learn what that is, now as a highly motivated, highly driven, kick butt entrepreneur that's going to get to 7 and multiple 7, you can start making some crucial decisions about what stays and what goes. And so here's what I need you to hear. More than anything else, when this clicked for me, I had an entrepreneur glass ceiling above my head too. I had the thoughts that my brain was serving me, and I really couldn't get past them. Like, I would try every strategy. I would buy new courses. Maybe I didn't work because that didn't work with my personality. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try this, right? Why are we like that? We're wired that way. Entrepreneurs were wired to move. And so I was trying to solve the problem of the ceiling that was above me, not realizing that it didn't lie outside of me, but coming to become obsessed with, why do I think differently about success, failure, worth, potential, possibility, capacity? Why do I think differently about that than my mentor did? See, my mentor and I, at the time, this was 10, 12 years ago, she and I had the same exact strategies. I found out after I invested $50,000. She didn't have a magic pill or a magic solution or a magic funnel or a magic any strategy. But man, did she think differently about her worth, about her capacity in the world, about what people will respond to, about her value, about her enoughness, about her ability to hold and capture a stage, about pretty much everything what I call the true growth vehicle for an entrepreneur. And that became an obsession for me. Why does she think so differently? And I started studying how does her brain work differently? And I found out it didn't. It just creates different patterns based on these subconscious programs. And I always say the doctor of Dr. Shannon stands for desperate enough to go figure it out. And so as I was becoming more obsessed with solving my own glass ceiling, we were at almost six figures, just under 200,000. We were at like 199,000, but for 5 straight years, I couldn't get past it. This is the right turn in my life. I became so obsessed with it because I knew it was the only thing that was holding me back from the vision I saw behind my eyes. What's the vision behind your eyes that you've been working on for 2, 5, 10, 20, however many years? Let me know that, because sister, we're so much alike. Brother, we get it. Like, it's so frustrating. So when I discovered really that the only thing wasn't a strategy, you only need one, wasn't a tactic. It was, I needed to think differently. And when I thought like somebody at 8 figures, when I thought differently, when I trained my brain to think differently, all of it worked. All of it started work, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. I see that. So here's the thing I want to leave you with today. Just the first step was the first step that I had to go through. And it's the idea that I can't out hustle. I can't out strategize. I can't out think. I can't out worry. By the way, entrepreneurs, we're doing a study right now. We're in mid-study right now. 89% of us have anxiety, high functioning anxiety. We use it, we harness it. 72% of us have ADD, ADHD on some level. Crazy pants, isn't that? So what's the deal? If that stuff doesn't work, then what does? And it's getting clear on what is your brain serving you. And if you like it and it creates emotion toward the vision, that's a win. But if what your brain is serving you does not allow you to reach that vision, there is nothing more important than the simple process to remove those. You probably heard of synaptic pruning. In our program, we actually coach you to remove those, because here's what I need you to know. This was me, and I know it is you. I don't have to motivate you to put your foot on the gas. Your foot is on the gas. Like, I know it. It's slammed on the gas. You're going. Can I get an amen? Can I get a witness? Like, no one has to come behind you and say, go. Like, you're going, you're trying, you're doing everything you can. You've gotten some results, you're doing well, but you're thinking like, can I sustain it? I don't know. Like all of those sentences that get served to you, right? So your foot's on the gas. Here's what the picture I need you to hear. Your foot's on the brake at the same time, and you didn't choose it and you didn't put it there, but it is on there. And that's why that feeling of going in circles exists, or stalling out, or feeling stuck, not being able to rise to that next level, that entrepreneur glass ceiling. The great news is God created a way. I discovered it in scientific rooms on how do you remove. I had to remove those patterns that God bless my parents. They were doing the best they could, but man, they had stories about money and about the worth and about enoughness and about potential. And I had to go in and I had to say, I'll keep those. Thank you very much. Those are getting me to that vision. But these, no, thank you. And you actually can do that now because you have this prefrontal cortex that can make those decisions. But there is nothing more important. We're sitting here in July. You had January goals. Here's the thing. If you want speed, if you want to really grow in your business, you've got to become unleashed from these automations that are running 90% of your decisions, actions, and therefore your results. You got to get unhooked from all the people that did the best that they could. We're not going to condemn them. We're not going to snorkel back. This is not any of that. But you get to get the process and the steps, simple steps, to literally take the power away from those stories and then remove them once and for all, and decide what you want to go in autopilot, running 90% of your daily decisions, actions, and results about your worth, about your vision, about what your potential is, about how wealthy you can become and how much of a difference you can make all of those things can happen, and nothing is more important. Because if you want to collapse time, here's how you slow down. Keep chasing the same things you've been chasing and hope to get a different result. That's what I was doing for 5 years. I'll hustle. I'll Gary V it. Love you, Gary. I'll outwork everybody. Didn't work. But when I learned to flip my brain success switch on, and that's what we call this in our world, where I learned to like literally align everything in my subconscious with the vision wins, the emotions guide. Those feelings that are lying right now, quiet. They're gone. And now every thought that your subconscious serves you serves the vision. When you get that, my friend, is what catapults people. I'll wrap with this one story. We're actually about to do a live round table. I hope you've gotten signed up for that. It was just something of generosity that I wanted to do. But here's the thing. I had an opportunity. My dear friend Bill, who runs 7-Figure Flipping, had an 8-figure business mastermind. And I came in and I really walked through the how to do what I just talked about with this 8-figure group. And they were taking notes and they were like, wow, like I see it. I can hear the sentences. I know exactly what my brain's serving me. Great. And we were able to start walking them through the simple process of removing those and building a brain-based brain prime that literally speeds up time, right? So we were working on that. What I didn't know is the speaker behind me that was coming in behind me was in the back of the room. I get into it and I really wasn't like focusing over here. I was focusing on the people here. And I look over as I wrap up and they were starting to introduce the next person. I see Damon John over there. Shark Tank. I love him. Guy's got so many billion-dollar companies and he's an incredible human being if you get to know him. He walks up behind me as he's coming on the stage and I'm coming off and he is looking at me like, Jesus is looking at me. I'm like thinking through, did I say something? Like I'm analyzing. Here's the meat of what he said. He stood up there and he said, I'm going to tell you how I got my businesses to $1 billion and what you need to do. But I have never heard what I accidentally did be taught in a way that I can now up level within 60 days. He's like, you better do everything she just taught you and go work with her. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, Bill, please tell me you have this on camera. Of course he didn't. That was not a thing. But here's what I need you to know. You are destined for the vision. Your foot is on the gas. You're called. You're created for such a time as this. We just need to get that foot off the gas or the brake, excuse me. We get to simply remove those things that you didn't create that are literally slowing you down and throwing the brakes onto your vision, to your dreams, to your goals, to your impact, and unleash you to a 67-day year. So if that is something that you're excited about doing work, if you're here with me live, just put 67 days. I'll invite you to an upcoming event where you can learn the process. If you're listening to this on the podcast that's going to come out next week, so you guys are getting an early preview for those who are live, you will just go down the show notes. The links will be there. All right. That's what I have for you this week. Remember, your vision wins. Your emotions will guide. Those feelings need to stop lying to you. They need to be removed and replaced with ones that catapult you to 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond. All right. I love you. I will see you next week on the Epic Success Podcast. Until then, bye for now. Instagram, I'm still here. I'm just actually going to end the live video over here.